Hey, brothers and sisters, how's everybody doing out there? I'm going to start off by hiding the chat from myself for a while to gain some momentum. Thank you guys for coming on here. I appreciate your time. God bless. We are living in interesting times right now. Today, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin are meeting in Alaska to discuss peace talks about Ukraine. You hear wars and rumors of wars throughout the world. You also hear peace and safety, or when they should cry peace and safety. You hear peace and safety almost on a daily basis now. And you combine those two together, and it's exactly what the Bible says it would be in the last days. So what's going to happen in this meeting? I don't have a crystal ball, but I could tell you this. A lot of people are pointing to Ezekiel 38 and 39 to happen later on in the tribulation period. I tend to believe that the Antichrist needs a platform to rise on. He needs something to come from the ashes of destruction. And I believe the Antichrist will come from the ashes of World War III. And I do not believe that the Ezekiel 38 and 39 war is in the future, like a couple of years down the line. I think it's a couple of months down the line. And the latest I think it would be is October, November timeframe. But I believe, for me, I believe it's pre-tribulation. It will happen in the very dawn of the new millennium. Matter of fact, it'll happen before the new millennium comes. So we are definitely in the last days of the last days. Now, what's going to happen at this meeting? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a prophet. And it can happen where they shake hands and say, oh, we got something going here. Oh my gosh, this is historic. Or they can leave ticked off. Donald Trump can leave. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe he did that. Or, Putin can do the same thing. But I do believe something's going to happen out of this, peaceful or not, that's going to set the stage for future confrontation. Now, if it's peace, it's going to set the stage for war. If they leave in a bad note, it's going to set the stage for peace. But we know that when they shall say peace and safety, total destruction shall come upon them. As travail upon a woman in birth, and they shall not escape. And then in Luke 21, Jesus says, pray that you can escape the things that are coming. In Luke 21, it says, and it shall come upon the world like a trap or like a snare. A snare is like, have you ever seen those bear traps where you don't see it and it's hiding in the woods and it goes snap? And the animal, you feel sorry for the animal, but it's got the animal in clutches. Well, that's exactly what we are facing right now. So, the other day, I was laying in my bed, and I looked under my door, and my computer is next to my door, my bathroom door, and on that door, I had a vision. And on the door was a baby laying in sand, and there was a hole right over above the baby's head, and the baby turned around and turned into clay. And then the baby turned into liquid clay and went through the hole and disappeared. I didn't say anything. I just sat there and just like, wow. Because it's not the first vision God has given me. And along with millions of other people, I believe God is telling the people to get ready, to prepare yourself prepare your life and to know that I am coming. Now, Israel is saying that there's a possibility, very big possibility, that they're going to go to war with Iran before December. Now, we know it's going to be way before December. I was listening to a girl, and I'm not saying this is any prophecy or nothing, but I was listening to a girl, and she brought up the dates of August 18th and August 21. Now, I think everybody's forgetting that we had an eclipse in America that crossed over America on August 21st, 2017. And this eclipse is crossing America. And we forget that God doesn't do anything for nothing. So he's trying to tell us, as the number one Gentile world, that time's up. Not only because we are America and we're special, but we represent the Gentile world. If you're going to get any country in our modern day to represent the Gentiles, remember the fullness of the Gentiles come in, found in Romans, I believe chapter 13, not sure. The fullness of the Gentiles come in. He put a cross right over the United States. And it's going to come a time when the United States will cease to exist at the way it has in the last 250 years. Now, how old is the United States? The United States is 250 years old. And the average time for a great empire is 250 years old. So at the middle point of the tribulation period, if it started this year, will be 2028-29. The United States will be exactly 250 years old. This is the time period, besides the Roman Empire and a few other empires that last a lot over. So when people say the average time for a superpower or a great empire to be 250 years old, I don't know what they're talking about. Because the Roman Empire lasted a long time. Egypt lasted a long time. Heck, the Jewish people, the Israelites were in prison. They were in captivity. They were in Egypt, kept by the pharaohs for 400 years. But I know what they're talking about. In average, when you take all the empires together, yank them together, and put an average, you get 250 years. That just scared the living crap out of most people. They say, well, you try to tell people to be fearful? No, fear actually gets you to do something. Do you know that God put emotions in our lives to make sure we stay on point? If you put a baby in the bathwater, anxiety should tell you, if you go and answer the phone and it's marked there on the phone, you know your baby in that bathwater, go get your baby. But you know, hey, there's some things going up inside of you telling you need to go get your baby out the bathwater. So we have things inside of us that God put there, emotions, to get us on the right track. Emotions are not bad. It's just mismanaged emotions is bad. Fear is a bad thing when fear is pointed in the wrong direction. Now there's a fear that you might lose your job, so you are on time daily. But then there's another fear that your wife is cheating on you when she's not. You just overkill, right? So we're not to have fear when we say this the end times. Now, I do have this emotion, and we should all have this emotion if we care about people. When you believe that Christ is returning, you should have fear that your family will be left behind. You should have fear that you're going to be left behind, but you should have fear that your family are going to be left behind. You should have fear instead of saying, oh, there's going to be an earthquake in the Pacific Ocean. It's going to kill everybody in Seattle. Why not just have compassion? I get it. You get excited. Christ is going to return. I get excited. But let's not do it on the heels of humans and people. God loves those people as well. You say, well, why is he allowing? I don't know. I mean, y'all don't really want to know why I think there will be a tsunami, because the earth is groaning to be set free, just like we're groaning to be set free. In Romans chapter 8, it says that the world is travailing. It wants to be redeemed. Our human body wants to be redeemed. The older we get, the more aches and pains I get. I'm 56 years old and I get aches and pains everywhere now. So, where's this meeting going to be? I have no idea what kind of they can leave that meeting and they can say, well, we set history today. It's the greatest meeting since sliced bread. Y'all know how Trump is. But Trump, a lot of times Trump don't exaggerate. He made a book in the 1990s called The Art of the Deal. Everybody's making Trump to be this person to go after the Nobel Peace Prize because he wants it and all this. So yeah, he does. He's arrogant. Most leaders could be arrogant sometimes. Some leaders are not. But when we look at Trump made a book called The Art of the Deal. Now, if it's in his nature to run a construction company and he enjoys making deals, then fine, give the man a break. I'm not saying that I'm drinking the Kool-Aid with Trump. No, I'm so far away from that right now. If you talk to my wife, she might even say I'm turning against Trump. But I'm saying this. Just because he wants to make a peace deal, yeah, these people are naive. They're puppets. They all work for the same master. As a matter of fact, Albert Pike probably stopped by their house and said, oh, we're going to have 3 world wars. The demons, they're already saying that they have made relations, a contact with the people out of space. And, those aren't people from outer space. They're demons. And they're the same ones controlling Albert Pike. And they're, these guys want to achieve their father's business. And that's that. And yeah, some of these leaders might want to be the Antichrist. Some of them might want to be world leaders. I don't know. I can't read their mind. And it'd be wrong for me to say, the president of France wants to be an Antichrist. All of them probably want to be a world leader. Maybe that's their hidden goal in life. They want to be a world leader. So that's all I say at that. But there is coming a leader that will be a world dictator, and he's coming very quickly here in the next couple of weeks. And I believe he will come out of the ashes of Damascus being taken away from being a nation. They should be a ruinous heap. I believe Damascus, Syria, will receive a mortal wound, and the leader in 3 years from here will receive a mortal wound. I believe that the person who will take over Damascus or take over Syria as the leader will be the little horn. And he will take over the region of the Middle East, which will be ran out of Turkey. And everybody's looking for the Antichrist to come out of the West. And yes, the Antichrist will rule both Constantinople and Rome. Their coming empire is not Brexit. It's going to come an empire sometime in October, maybe before that, maybe in September. And it's going to be 10 regions out of the Mediterranean Union. And it's going to rise all at the same time. It's not going to be 1 country, 2 countries, 4 countries, 5, like the European Union was. It's going to be a conglomerate of 10 nations rising all at the same time. And as they rise, somehow or another, Damascus is going to get into a war, and Damascus is going to be taken out, and this leader, the new leader of Syria, will rise in the mix of those 10. And he will subdue, he will take over the region, which will be 3 of the Middle East. So the regions consist of 5 in Europe, 2 in Northern Africa, and 3 in the Middle East. The Antichrist will be a very charming, good-looking guy. Don't know if he's going to be in his 30s or 60s or in between. Don't know. But he's going to be a really good-looking guy. The guy's going to have tan color, character lines, the mature character lines. Good-looking guy, tan colors. If he's younger, He's going to have the pretty boy, Gucci, GQ look, but he's going to look more mature for his age. And he's going to have different color eyes, maybe gray or green. You say, you seen the vision of this? No, I'm just guessing. He'll be good, charming to the women, strong leader, but he'll be so zeroed in on power that he doesn't like women. So people think he's going to be gay. He's not going to be gay. He's going to be so set on flint. You know how they say Jesus said he was set on flint to the cross? Well, the Antichrist is going to be set on power. So he ain't got no time for no women. Remember, he's only here for 7 years. That's a long time. I lived in the city that I'm in right now. I lived in the city for 17 years. So 7 years is not a lot. Now, remember, Adolf Hitler was in charge for 12 years. Now, when I think of 7 years, I think it's fast. I think 7 years is pretty quick. So it's not so quick when you're sitting here in the tribulation period and you're hoping that it's over. It's not going to be too quick. But for me and you, as we look at our 5-year-old kid that used to go to this school behind me, now in high school, or getting ready to go to the prom, I mean, those years go by pretty fast, folks. So what I think is going to happen in the next couple of weeks, I know some things are going to happen. Listen, folks, I don't have a crystal ball. I can guess. I can sit up here all week long with you for a 24-hour, 7-day telethon for 7 days and still barely scratch the surface of the next 40 days if it happens in 40 days. If it happens in 40 days in a year. Heck, sitting here trying to predict the time is a waste of time. What I am going to say this is I can't say it's going to be fun. I can't say it's going to be very interesting because we have to have compassion for our fellow man. We have to have compassion for our family members. We have to have compassion for our neighbor. And this should drive you crazy to a certain point because it's driving me crazy because I'm asking God to say, let me enjoy this time period that, hey, I can see the earthquakes happening and the tornadoes and all. No, God is making me feel more sadder than I ever have in my whole entire life. Because even if I made it, folks, even if I made it, why do I want something to happen to somebody else? That's what's making it more like, okay, I'm out of here. I get out of here, but everybody else is going to suffer. Yeah, they deserve it. We deserve it. If we get left out, we deserve it. But at the same time, folks, I'm not looking for somebody to suffer. I live right in the Pacific. I live near Seattle. Even if I lived in the middle of the United States, I don't want the people in Seattle suffering. I don't even want us suffering. We live right next to Yellowstone, folks. Look, folks, if you sitting here preaching that we're in the end times and you can't wait to get out of here and you have no concern for the lost, and I'm not judging anybody, but I'm saying I'm judging people. I'm judging me. If we don't have no concern, because I prayed a while back that I would have compassion when Jesus Christ gets ready to come. And I wish I wouldn't have prayed that because it's bothering me. It's causing me to get up in the morning and 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, come out on my porch and pray for the lost. But folks, it's not a joke that the San Andreas fault the whole nation, the whole state can break off into the Pacific Ocean. It's not funny that Boston can end up ruin his heat, let alone Damascus. Folks, I'm not trying to make nobody feel bad. I'm just saying we got to have compassion. Jeremiah had compassion. Isaiah had compassion. Even Jonah, who hid up under a tree, and God just said, I'm going to kill that tree off that's hiding you from that shade. And he didn't have no compassion. He's like, oh yeah, they deserve it. I hope they don't repent. He's ticked off they repented. Look, folks, I'm okay with us watching. I'm okay with us thinking it's a blessed hope. I'm okay with us getting happy and blessed that he's coming back. But just make sure you understand that people are going to die during this time period. As a matter of fact, the Georgia capstones say sustain 500 million. The Bible says that 2/3 of mankind will be dead, killed. Most people will not make the end of the tribulation period. There's nothing to be happy about. Yeah, I'm meeting my God. I'm happy with that. As a matter of fact, I'm ecstatic. I am so blessed if I make it. So how dare you say if you make it? Look, folks, time is short. Jesus said, my sheep hear my voice. And if Jesus is saying his sheep hear his voice, shouldn't we be hearing his voice? If Jesus says that I'm coming back, watch, and then he says to pray that you can escape the things that are coming, then he turns around and says, before that, he says, it should come on the world like a snare or a trap. And then, not only that, he tells you to remember Lot's wife. Lot's wife was clear out of the city. Only thing she needed to do is obey the angel and obey God. The angel wasn't God, but the angel represents God. Obey. That's perfect example of what's going to happen in the near future. You obey the Spirit of God. He told you to watch. And the majority of the church, my brothers and sisters, future brothers and sisters, are not watching. Not only are they not Lot's wife, they're not watching. The invitations are going out. Come to the banquet. Everybody's invited. Many are called, but few are chosen. Do you want to come to the banquet, mister, here? Yes, I want to come. Do you want to come? Yeah, I'll come. But before that, do you want to come to the banquet? No, I got to go see Billy graduate from high school. Do you want to come to the banquet? No, I'm in college. This is me. I'm in college. I want to go ahead and get this degree first. He might come back in 2032. I'm serious. That was pretty much what I was thinking a couple of weeks ago, even though I was probably end time watchman. So I was able to be sent to look in another direction because God wanted to teach me how to communicate with other people, to keep our eyes on Jesus Christ, to watch and pray that we be found worthy, to escape the things that are coming, to watch and pray that our house will not be broken into, and the thief will not come in to kill, steal, and destroy. Who is the thief in Matthew 24? Is it Jesus or is it the devil? It's both. Well, it's probably only one. And the thief, in some references, is Jesus Christ coming to snatch the church up. And then there's other references. The thief is Satan, who goes along like a roaring lion seeking who he may devour. So, this meeting is very important. This meeting is so important today because it's going to set the stage for what's coming. Israel's about to go into Hamas, and they're going to take over Gaza City. And as they take over Gaza City, there's going to be a meeting, if it already has not transpired, and it's going to be Iran's satellites who are going to come in. I believe it's still Psalms 83, and they're going to go up against Israel. And it has to happen really quickly here because we're running out of time. And the dream or the visitation that Joshua had, if you look at Michael, I think his name was Michael, who calculated the days, no one is mentioning the fact that the Feast of Trumpets represents the day of the Lord, the marker to mark the beginning of the day of the Lord. See, it doesn't mark the tribulation period. The Feast of Trumpets will not mark the beginning of the tribulation period. It will mark the day of the Lord, the beginning of the day of the Lord. That's why the Bible says that the day of the Lord should come as a thief in the night. Or let me rephrase it. The day of the Lord should come as the rapture of the church. So the clock is actually the 1,260 days starts the count of the day of the Lord. The 30 days extra, wherever he's putting it at the beginning of it at the end, still counts. And I believe it's the preparation point of both the Antichrist coming to sign a peace deal and at the end of the tribulation period for various reasons. I don't know where the combination is. So yes, the first half of the tribulation period is 1,260 days. And the second half is 1,290 days. But I believe that the 30 days is still could be shafted to the first part of the tribulation period to deal with the Antichrist signing of a peace deal. Now, he confirms the covenant. It's already existing covenant. So the beginning of the tribulation period will come when the Antichrist signs a peace deal. It is not the rapture of the church. The rapture of the church is a marker for the day of the Lord, or the 1,000-year period beginning. That's how it's like having a jar of pickles and you take the top off. The rapture is taking the top off, the 1,000-year period. And the 7-year tribulation period overlaps into the 1,000-year period. And then the 1,000-year period begins at the end of the tribulation period. So kind of get that in mind, that the rapture of the church does not start the tribulation period. It starts the count. It starts the count, the number count, but it does not start the tribulation period. The Antichrist signing of a peace deal with his pen will begin the tribulation period. So just remember that. So God bless you guys. I'm gonna get out of here. I don't know I'm afraid to even look at the comment section, and I apologize if the comment section got out of hand, but I had to keep the video attentive. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all later. Bye.